Welcome to English 1120 at Southern Utah University, our Introduction to Grammar course. In this video, we want to discuss language register. So we want to define the term register when it refers to linguistics. We'll talk about the concept of code switching, and then we'll talk about why people use different language registers. So register is a form of the language that fits a particular purpose. So we adjust our use of the language to better fit the audience and the context that we're surrounded by. Often this involves changing the level of formality, but it involves other things like which vocabulary words we choose to use, the types of grammar we use. It may involve changes to our pronunciation. It may even involve other changes to simply our nonverbal communication as well. So some examples of registers, we may use different register, maybe when we're in a religious environment, when we're talking to people of different ages, when we're with friends versus in more professional or familial situations, whether we're in situations where we're with people that we know really well versus people that we don't know really well. All of these things can influence how we change the type of language we use. Code switching is the concept that describes making a choice to alternate between different languages, maybe between different dialects of the same language, or even different registers within a particular dialect. So this choice where we decide to switch between using one or another often is impacted by who the audience is. We want to use a language or a dialect or a register that they will understand. But we also make other choices about how we switch between the form of the language all the different forms that we know. And why do we do that? Well, as we talked about, we want to be understood, but we gain an understanding of how people perceive the form of the language that we use, whether it's our dialect or our register, or even if it's someone who speaks multiple languages that we speak, we may know that they may perceive one of those languages, dialects, or registers differently than the other ones. And we want to choose a language form that's most appropriate for that person and the context. So we want to put them maybe at ease, or we want to present an image to them that they will find acceptable or will be pleasing to us, or we intentionally choose something that we know will make a statement about how we're speaking to them. For example, you may speak very familial with a friend and you get upset with the friend, you may switch to a more formal register when speaking to that friend in order to make a statement about your relationship. But often we choose a register because we want to show an in-group connectedness with that audience. So we speak differently with that group because we want them to show, I'm speaking like you. I'm a member of your group. I belong here, and we have a lot in common. But then we may switch to other forms of the language when we're speaking with other groups because we want to show them or create an impression for them that suits our purposes. So we adjust language, we code switch, we use registers in order to have the impact that we want on different groups. So we talked about register. It's a form of the language that may have changes to pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, in order to fit the context and the audience that we want. And code switching is when we switch between different dialects or registers to serve different purposes. And we do that because we know that people are influenced by the form of the language we use, and we want to create a particular impact